Namaskar and welcome to the 56th day of our Ramayana Satsanga. Lakshmīnātha Samārambhām Nāthayāmuna Madhyamām Asmadācārya Paryantāṃ Vande Guru Paramparam Yo Nityamachyuta Padāmbuja Yugma Rugma Vyamohatastaditarāni Trināya Mene Asmadguror Bhagavatosya Dayaika Sindhoho Ramanujasya Charanau Sharanam Prapadye आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारी परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेत सादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. With prayers at the lotus feet of Sri Rama and Acharyas, let us go to our topic today. So, yesterday we saw how Rama and Lakshmana and Sita return back and they are happily welcomed by everybody, and then they all proceed to Ayodhya for the coronation of Rama, for the Pattabhisheka of Rama. So once they reach there, Bharata says, Yavada vartate chakran, yavati cha vasundhara, tavatva miha sarvasya, swamitvam abhivartaya. He's telling Rama that, O God, O Rama, as long as this Bhuloka is there, as long as it is revolving around the sun, as long as all these things are there, you be the king of Ayodhya. Like that, Bharata offers back the kingdom to Rama. Now it is decided that to do the Pattabhisheka, they need the water from all the holy rivers, from all the oceans, and they are wondering how it can be procured so easily. At that time, Hanuman and the other Vanaras, they go in different directions and they collect the water from all the holy rivers, from all the oceans, and they bring it there. Now, the moment has come when finally Rama is going to be declared as the Lord of Ayodhya. And not just Ayodhya, he is going to be the Lord of all the hearts of all the people there. For years together, for yugas together. We know that all these events happened in the Treta Yuga. But till today, we are talking about Rama and we are talking about the great qualities that he showed. If you remember in the first episode, we had said that when Narada came and Valmiki asked him that who is the person who is having all these gunas, that time Narada had replied that it is Rama who has all these gunas. So till today, Lord Rama is the king of all our hearts, our minds also. And not just people in India, but people from all over the world. He is the ruler of our hearts and mind. So finally, this moment has come when Rama is to be coronated as a king. He is made to sit on the throne. Sita is there on his left side, and the rishis are there. Acharya Vasishta Guru is there. All the other rishis are there. And using that holy water which has come from all the rivers and oceans, they do his Pattabhisheka. He is crowned as the king of Ayodhya. All the devatas have come on this occasion to witness that beautiful sight. And just as at some point of time Indra had been made the king of Svargaloka, even greater is the Vaibhava of Rama as he is made the king of Ayodhya. All the Vanaras who have come, all the Rakshasas who are there, all the Rishi Munis of the holy land of Bharata, all the Devatas, everybody is there and they're all happily witnessing this sight. Of course, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna are standing by his side. They are also there. Anjaneya is sitting very beautifully at the feet of Rama, and this beautiful sight is the Pattabhisheka of Sri Rama. So we are also blessed that through this Ramayana Satsang, we have got to also be part of this wonderful celebration. There is one very well-known shloka which expresses the beauty of this divine sight, and it is our way of offering our obeisance to this Rama who has been crowned as the king. Vaidehi sahitam suradrumatale haime mahamandape madhye pushpakamasane manimaye virasane sustitam agre vachayati prabhanjana sute tatvam munibhya param व्याख्यान्तं भरतादिभिः parivritam ramam bhaje shamalam. What the shloka says is that this Rama who is of Shamala Varna. This beautiful Lord Rama, who is dark colored, he is seated in the Virasana posture along with Vaidehi. So, with Vaidehi next to him, Vaidehi is Sita. So, this Sita, who is from the kingdom of Videha, she is Vaidehi. She is seated next to Rama. He is sitting in the Virasana posture. He is sitting below the Parijata tree, below a golden canopy, and the throne on which he is sitting is a wonderful throne which is studded with all precious stones and gems. Now, in front of this Rama, Hanuman is seated. All the rishis are present there, and Rama explains Rama, who is himself divinity, Rama himself, who is the Paramapurusha, who is Purushottama, the one who is glorified by the scriptures. He is explaining the meaning of those scriptures to this Anjaneya. Using Anjaneya as a Madhyama, he is teaching that meaning of the scriptures to all of us. And he is surrounded by Bharata and his other brothers, and to such a Rama who is in this glorious position, being coronated as the king of Ayodhya, to him we are offering our prostrations. To him we are offering our namaskara. So let us pray at this moment. Let us visualize this picture of Rama Pattabhisheka in our hearts, in our minds, and let us pray to him for the blessings from him and Sita Mata, from all the great people who are present in those on that occasion, all the Bhagavatas who are there in that assembly. Let us pray for their blessings and grace to be on us as we witness this event. And not just today, but every day, for each moment of our life, let their grace and blessings be on us. Let us be aware that they are there with us to guide us through every aspect, through every part of our life. Now, after this Pattabhisheka is over, Rama gives gifts to all the Vanaras and sends them back. They go then to Kishkinda. To Vibhishana, Rama is so happy with Vibhishana that he gifts the Murti of his Kula Devata. You remember we said that the Devata who was called as Jagannatha, that Lord to whom Rama himself had prayed before his to be Pattabhisheka at that point of time. Now Rama gives that Murti to Vibhishana, and Vibhishana starts traveling to Lanka. However, when he reaches this holy spot on the banks of the Kaveri river in Sri Rangam, that Lord expresses his desire to stay there in that beautiful spot. And that is what we worship. That Lord is the one we worship as Ranganathar at Sri Rangam even today. Now, once Vibhishana has also departed, then Rama wants to make Lakshmana as the Yuvaraja, the next in line for the throne. But Lakshmana, typically with his Dasya Bhava, he says, I don't want any such position. I only want to be your Dasa. I don't want this position of Yuvaraja. He refuses. So then Rama commands Bharata that you have to be the Yuvaraja. And as we know, Bharata always does that which Rama orders. We have said before that if Lakshmana is a perfect example of Seva Bhava with the attitude of being a servant of the Lord, then Bharata is the one who is even one step ahead. He is denoting the quality of Paratantriya, where he has no will and wish of his own. He is entirely doing only that which the Lord commands, which Rama commands. So Bharata agrees and he becomes the Yuvaraja. And ever since that day, there is Ramarajya in Ayodhya, and all of them are living happily in that Ramarajya. The Praja of Ayodhya are very thrilled, they are very happy. This is what they have waited for all these years. They wanted to enjoy this Ramarajya before itself, but due to the strange turn of events, because of the Lord's Sankalpa that he had to destroy the Rakshasas, all those things happened. Now, all that misery, all that agony is forgotten, and they are all living very happily in Ramarajya. Rama rules for the next 11,000 years. And it is said, Valmiki is describing in the Ramayana how it was when Rama was ruling the kingdom. Na parya deva na vidva, na cha vyala kritam bhayam, na vyadhijam bhayan vapi, Rame rajyam prashasati. When Rama was ruling the kingdom, there was no lamentation of the widows. Why? Because people were not dying an untimely death. There was no danger from wild animals. There was no fear of disease. So everybody was in very good health, in very good conditions. They were living their life in Rama's kingdom. Sarvam mudita me vasi tat sarvo dharma paro abhavat. Ramamevanu nabhyahinsan parasparam. Every creature, every being, everybody was happy. Everybody was always towards dharma. They were always behaving in a way which is told by dharma. And always their eyes were only turned on Rama. That means they were always doing that which was pleasant to Rama. And there was no question of himsa between any beings. So nobody killed each other. None of the animals also killed each other. So everybody was living in this virtuous condition in Ramarajya. Ramo Ramo Rama iti prajanam bhavan kathaha. Ramabhutam Jagadbhudram. Sorry. Ramabhutam Jagadbhudram Rame Rajyam Prashasati. While Rama ruled the kingdom, all the people, all the time, they were only saying Rama, Rama, Rama. Whatever they talked, it was only about Rama. And this world, for the people, everything was Rama's world. So today, when we are listening to this Katha of Rama, for us also in the past few days, we are saying that this is the 56th day of our Rama Satsanga, of our Ramayana Satsanga. So for us also at this time, our thoughts and our talk has centered around Rama. So let us try and imbibe that spirit of the people of Ayodhya, and for the rest of our life, let us also keep Rama uppermost in our minds. Whatever comes in our life, whatever situations, whatever circumstances come, let us try and keep Rama's thought uppermost always in our minds. Now, there is a story which is told. In the Valmiki Ramayana, it is described that Indra was so happy at the Pattabhisheka of Rama that he brought a beautiful pearl necklace and gave it to Rama. Now, Rama told Sita that whoever you think deserves this in this assembly among all the people who are here, you please give it to the person who you think is having the maximum amount of intelligence, courage, strength, and all good qualities. Bhakti, Shakti, all those things. So, invariably, Sita chooses Hanuman. She gives that pearl necklace to Hanuman. Now, this is all that is described in the Valmiki Ramayana. However, there is one popular story which is told. I'm not sure of the source where it has come from, but there's a popular story which is told which continues this thing. That once she gives the pearl necklace to Hanuman, Hanuman goes into one corner of the hall and he starts picking up one by one the pearls from that necklace and he starts biting it, chewing it, and spitting it out. Now, people who see this are shocked and they complain to Rama that what is this he is doing? So then Rama asks Hanuman, what are you doing? Why are you destroying that necklace like that? So then Hanuman says that what I did was I looked at this pearl necklace. You said, Sita Devi said that it's a very valuable necklace. And therefore I looked at it. When I looked at it, I tried to see whether I could see your form, O Rama. I tried to see whether I can see your form in that because then only it will be very valuable. I couldn't see your form in it. Then I thought that maybe I will be able to smell the fragrance of the tulsi which is offered to you from these pearls. So when I smelled them, I didn't find any smell from the pearls, which showed that your presence was there. Then I held those pearls near my ear and I tried to hear whether the sound of Rama, Rama, Rama is coming from these pearls. That also was not there. Then I tried to feel it on my skin and whether I can feel your touch, your soft touch of your lotus feet, but I'm not able to feel that also. And finally, now what I thought is okay, let me at least taste these pearls and maybe the rasa of your nama, the rasa of your mahima, maybe that taste I will get in my tongue when I bite these pearls. But even that I'm not finding. So when all these things I'm not able to find through my senses, I'm not able to experience anything connected to you from these pearls, then what is the value of these pearls for me? Therefore, I'm throwing it out. I'm spitting and throwing it out, he says. Now, Rama is very pleased to hear this thing because he has shown now by saying this, Hanuman has shown what is the bhakti, what is the bhava that he has for anything in this world. He has no value for it unless it is connected with Rama. That is a big lesson for all of us also. Now it is said that there was somebody in the audience in that assembly who said that how can you expect that inanimate objects like that will contain Rama? How can they contain? So then Hanuman replies that if Rama can be present inside me, inside this sharira of mine, which is made up of bones and muscle and blood and flesh, why can it not be there inside the pearls? So they said, what do you mean? What do you mean by saying that Rama is there inside you? And it is said that at that time, Hanuman tears open his chest, and there everybody is able to glance and to see the beautiful form, just as they had witnessed Rama and Sita in the Pattabhisheka seated on that, beautiful throne. Like that, Rama and Sita are seated inside Hanuman's heart. Seeing that, they are all shocked. Seeing that, they realize how great a Bhakta Hanuman is. And once more, Rama is so happy with Hanuman. Now, there is nothing more that he can give to Hanuman for this bhakti that he has. And therefore, yet again, it is said, at that moment, just as he had when Hanuman came back with the good news of having found Sita, at this moment again, Rama is overwhelmed with love and affection for Hanuman. And in that joy, he embraces Hanuman yet again, saying that I can only offer you myself. And here the Acharyas explain to us that the Lord is happiest when he sees the bhakti of his devotees. And to such a bhakta who is offering him unconditional bhakti, the Lord gives himself over to those people. In many places, the Lord himself has said, Aham bhakta paradhino. I am totally dependent on my bhaktas. How can the Lord say that? He is the master of the universe. He is the one who is swatantra. He is not paratantra on anybody. He is not dependent on anybody at all. He can do whatever he wants. And yet, this Lord says that he is dependent entirely on his bhaktas. If you know the story of Ambarisha, where Durvasa came and he cursed Ambarisha, and the Sudarshan Chakra chased Durvasa Rishi through the entire universe. At that point also, when Durvasa went and begged Sriman Narayana for forgiveness, the Lord had said, I can't do anything. I am totally under the control of my devotees. If you have done Bhagavata Pachara, you have insulted my bhakta, you have to go back to him only and beg forgiveness. Even I can't do anything to stop the Sudarshan Chakra. So that is the greatness of this Lord, that he is having those qualities of Paratva. He is the Swami of the entire universe. He is the Supreme One, and yet he has Saulabhya. Yet he is available to us. He is easily accessible to us. All we need to do is to call out his name. All we need to do is constantly remember him in our minds. And he's sitting there. He is always there within us. He's just waiting for us to call out to him. And the minute we call out with his unconditional grace, with his blessings, he is going to bless us and flood our lives with all kinds of joy. So let us remember that from this story about Hanuman and the pearl necklace. Now, here, if we do a quick recap of what all we have seen in the Ramayana, what we have seen till now are the 6 kandas. So in the Balakanda, the most significant event was the wedding of Rama and Sita. So there in the Balakanda, Valmiki has shown us that this Lord, who is the consort, who is the Lord of Mahalakshmi Devi, he is the Supreme Lord. In the Ayodhya Kanda, we were shown the Kalyana Gunas of the Lord, because that is the time when Dasharatha orders him on the instigation of Kaikeyi. He is forced to tell Rama to go to Vanavasa and to give up the throne. And there, throughout that episode, Rama has shown fully all those gunas that he has. So that is the Ayodhya Kanda. In the Aranya Kanda, we have seen how he showed this property of taking care of all the rishis, of destroying the Rakshasas. So that shows us the Sharanagata Rakshana quality of the Lord, how he is the one who protects his devotees who have surrendered to him. In the Kishkinda Kanda, we saw how Hanuman was the one who connected Rama with Sugriva, and therefore that role of Hanuman as a guru who, who brings the devotee to the Lord, that was shown in Kishkinda Kanda. In Sundarakanda, we saw how Hanuman went as a messenger of Rama, as a Ramaduta to Sita, and there Sita was in the role of a Jivatma, Rama is the Paramatma, and this Hanuman who has gone with the as a Duta, he is the Acharya who who helps convey the message from the Paramatma to the Jivatma, and who takes the message from the Jivatma to the Paramatma and plays an important role in uniting them. In the Yuddha Kanda, we saw how Ravana was destroyed. In the Yuddha Kanda, we also saw how Vibhishana came and surrendered to the Lord. So we have seen in the Yuddha Kanda how the Paramatma, he destroys all the papas of people and he accepts the Jivatma. We saw how Sita also was accepted by the Lord. So, how papas are destroyed and the Jivatma in its pure state is accepted by the Lord, that we studied in the Yuddha Kanda. So, we are stopping our Ramayana Satsanga at this point. Of course, there is also the Uttarakanda. By the grace of Sri Rama, by the grace of the Acharyas, hopefully at some other point of time, maybe during Navaratri this year or some other point of time, we will take up a study of the Uttarakanda also. But for now, we are going to stop with this Yuddhakanda. And in summary, what we need to say is that from the Sri Vaishnava perspective, this Ramayana is considered as the Sharanagati Shastra. In every stage, we have seen how certain people performed surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord, and based on the conditions, based on the wishes of the Lord, at that point of time, they were accepted. And it is so important, this Sharanagati Tattva, that it is said that Swami Ramanujacharya, our Acharya, studied this Ramayana Grantha 18 times under the guidance of one of his acharyas called Sri Periya Tirumalai Nambi. So, how much must be the importance of this Shastra, of this Ramayana, if somebody like Swami Ramanujacharya, who has such great intelligence, who has such great knowledge, he himself did a deep study of this Grantha 18 times. So, every time there was some or the other new aspect that he found was revealed to him. So, if he could do it 18 times, then let us pray that Lord will bless us with the ability, whatever we have heard in these satsangs, let that kindle the fire of curiosity in us. Let it make us curious to want to study more in detail. Let us take up study of the Ramayana. Let us do Parayana of the Ramayana. Let us take advice from somebody who is elder to us, somebody who knows about these things, and let us take to the study and Parayana of this Ramayana Grantha. Now, it is told for every grantha, all our holy texts, whichever it may be, whether it is the Itihasas, whether it is Ramayana, it is Mahabharata, it is the Puranas, there is something called as a Falashruti that expresses what are the benefits that come to somebody who listens to all this, to somebody who chants these great scriptures. So here it is told for Ramayana, the anybody who hears this Ramayana, anybody who tells about this Ramayana, anybody who inspires and arranges a program where Ramayana is being told. For all these people, the person who does all these things, if you listen, if you tell, and if you are instrumental in arranging a program where somebody tells and people listen, then such people will get Dirga Ayusha, they will get long life. They will overcome all the difficulties and obstacles in their life. They will have prosperity in their family. They will have lot of dhanadhanya. They will have sukha, ananda in their life. Whatever they want, whatever desires they have, that will be fulfilled by Rama. The Lord will be pleased with them. The Devatas will be pleased with them. Women will give birth to excellent children. All the papas will be removed and the forefathers will be pleased. So, all this happens when somebody does a study, an understanding, a reading, a chanting of the Ramayana. So, this should be listened to anybody who wants wisdom, long health, good health. They want a long life. They want fame, they want intelligence, whatever they may want in their life. It can all be achieved by a faithful study of the Ramayana. Ayushyam arogyakaram yashasyam saubhratrikam buddhikaram shubham cha shrotavymetan niyamena sadbhihi rakhyanamojaskaram riddhi kamaihi. Whatever you seek, you will get if you listen to the Ramayana, if you study the Ramayana, if you read and chant these shlokas of the Ramayana. So we have been fortunate enough to have this opportunity. So whatever I have told, it has come from the knowledge that has been given to us by Valmiki Rishi. It has come from the commentaries which are given by the great Vyakhyatas. Mainly, we have been following the Vyakhyana called as Bhushanam, which was composed by one great Acharya called Govindarajar in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. I have got all the shlokas and their meanings from the IIT Kanpur website, which has dedicated itself to this, spreading knowledge about the Ramayana. I have also followed the commentaries the Upanyasams, the lectures which have been delivered on this topic of Ramayana by two very great Upanyasakars. One is Dr. Uve Venkatesh and the other is Sri Uve Velukudai Krishnan Swami. They have been the people whose top whatever they have spoken in their lectures, I have blindly followed and just copied and narrated all those things. And whatever you may have understood out of my explanations, whatever you may have enjoyed from these discussions, all that, the good things, whatever have happened, are because of all these great people whom I have followed. And by their grace, we have learned all the good things. Any mistakes which may have happened, they are all solely mine alone. They are because of my limitations in understanding, my limitations in chanting the shlokas, my limitations in being able to explain things. So all the mistakes are mine alone. Whatever good you may have gained from this is due to the grace of the acharyas. So finally, in conclusion, let us offer gratitude to the lotus feet of Sri Rama, Sita, Devi, all the great people who have guided us in this journey, and at the lotus feet of our acharyas for giving us this wonderful knowledge of Ramayana. Let us thank the acharyas and Lord for giving us this opportunity also. When I started this, I thought it will be completed in that Dhanurmasa in just about 30 days. But we can see now it has taken us almost close to 50, 60 episodes to be able to do justice to this. And we still have the Uttarakanda pending. So God willing, we will do it at some other point of time, the Uttarakanda part. But for now, let us bring this satsang of Ramayana to a conclusion here, seeking blessings of the Lord. Mangalam Kosalendraya, Mahaniya Gunabdaye, Chakravarti Tanujaya, Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam, Veda Vedanta Vedyaya, Megha Shyamalamurtaye, Pumsam Mohana Rupaya, Punyashlokaya Mangalam, Pitrabhaktaya Satatam, Bhratrabhi Sasitaya, Nandita Khila Lokaya, Ramabhadraya Mangalam, Srimate Raghuviraya, Setu Langita Sindhave, चितराक्षसराजाय रणधीराय मङ्गलं मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्. Thank you, everybody. I am also very grateful to all of you who have been listening to these satsangs, who provided your feedback at different points of time, and who've been so accepting of my small squirrel like efforts in spreading this information about the Ramayana. So, thank you very much. Please pray that I will be able to do more and more seva in this regard. And let us meet again. I hope after this, probably we will be continuing with our Bhagavad Gita series as usual, weekly ones. So please join me for that also. Namaskar. Thank you.